And by here, I mean, why did you join Mastermind? For most people, the surface level answer that is given is some version of, well, I wanted to grow, I wanted to increase sustainability, I wanted to be more profitable, etc., etc. But that's a symptom. That's an effect. I'm interested in the root cause, and I would say that the real benefit of let me just switch to gallery view so I can see all you lovely people. Hello, Alex. Hello, Ollie. Hello, Rob. The real benefit is to make you a better business owner, to make you a more skilled business owner, because you can make profit for a time period, but if we were just telling you what to do, you become dependent upon us. Whereas if you learn the skills and the processes and the decision-making methodology to help you make better decisions, ultimately you're being taught how to fish, and you can fish for yourself for many years to come. So I believe the key to being a better business owner is being more skilled at making business decisions. That's what this is about. And so it's useful to say, what limits that? What gets in the way, Jacqueline, of making good decisions? Right? And I think a lot of people make decisions based upon emotion. And I'm paraphrasing Keith Cunningham here, but in business, emotions are the enemy. I think emotions and business intelligence are inversely proportional. By a show of hands, who on here has got really excited about a decision, jumped into it, and then later regretted making that choice? Show of hands, please. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Equally, many of us have been in a really negative mood and made a decision and then regretted that choice. So I do genuinely feel that emotions are the enemy. In fact, so said a different way, I think making excellent business decisions based upon the correct analysis of the data is the key to growing your business and your personal wealth. Right? But this is where we immediately start to lose people, Neil, because people get lost and go, oh, this is just complicated. We're going to talk about numbers, Dan. Oh, don't tell me we're not going to talk about numbers. We're going to talk about numbers. But specifically, I want to talk about a tool that we've created for you, because some people kind of can see numbers and get it, but a lot of people naturally get very overloaded. And so we've created a very simple bit of software. And just for clarity, I was hoping to let you all try it out today, but we're not quite there yet. It's still wireframe, so I'm going to give you a demonstration today, and but it will be functional in the imminent future, and we will be moving to it in the next quarter. In fact, one of you on this call, by the end of next quarter, when we're back in the room face to face, I will, whoever basically uses this software and gives us a spectacular demonstration of how they've grown their business since COVID and how they've adapted to COVID and demonstrates it via this software. One of you we're going to reward with a prize, a £10,000 all expenses funded trip with me to the United States of America, assuming we're allowed to go there. If not, it'll probably be the Caribbean or Barbados, or it's somewhere wonderful anyway. And you'll be winning that at the end of next quarter. But I'll loop back to that. Really, the best route, I think, to analyzing your data, if you're not a numbers person, is to show it visually, to show it in graphical form. So I'm going to log in, and I've been doing this now with a few bits of data, and I'm going to show you a private client's data. He's given permission for me to show this data, but he's not given me permission to tell you his business specifically, because there's some personal financial information in there, Alison, so he will remain anonymous. But he's been a member for a number of years, since 2017, I think. But when you're looking at the graphs, you can plot the trend lines, and that allows you, Mike, to reinforce, celebrate the wins. But also, Alistair, it helps us avoid these negative loops. These negative loops when we go, oh yeah, this is crap, business is rubbish. When actually, as soon as you zoom out and you can see it on a graph, it gives you a better perspective. A final thing, good, I'm glad you're in, Alex. A final thing on this is, we wanted to have a group overview. One of our core values, Stephen, is we'll treat your business as our own. So I often look at the data and I'll act mentally. I'll prepare it as though this is a company that I own. So I want to see how it's trending over time. So let me get the right screen. Yeah, that's the one I want. You know, in your workbooks, we often, for the last year or so, we've had you track the Fast Track Business Health Assessment, okay? And we've had you plot these various data points over time. But it's been on paper, so it's been somewhat complex. We've also got you to do your BPM scorecard, and I wanted to bring it all together in one place. We've also got the business kind of valuation calculator. I wanted to bring it together in one place because it allows us to see how the overall group is doing, and it was driving us crazy trying to track everybody's data. I wanted to consolidate it. So let me give you an example because it's proof what you're doing is working. It'll stop the fear and it allows you to nip mistakes in the bud. So here's what you're going to get some point over the next quarter. All right, so a little sign-in page. And then this is just the Fast Track Business Health Assessment, but logged in and there's a dashboard with a variety of different things. So you are going to, we're going to get you to input your data here, or it can also be imported, right, from a spreadsheet. So your revenues, your financial data can be plotted, okay? And you can go through, if it hasn't logged me out, no, and yeah, you can see here this person's different years. They haven't tracked, for disclosure, every single bit of data. They've only tracked certain pieces. Okay, so you're gonna log in and you can take notes so we can see it over time. But the most useful bit is you can look at it in graphical form. Okay, so you can see it as a bar chart, how it's going quarter on quarter. You can see it as a line graph. You can obviously do different time periods. Okay, but you can put multiple data points on simultaneously. So you can have revenue, you can have profit. And look, if you look at this person's business as an example, right, you can see where it was every quarter, and you can see it was steadily growing, 572,000 in revenue in that particular quarter, Q1 2020, and then what happened? COVID. That's the only little dip in this 3 years worth of data, when it dropped back down and the profit dropped with it. But then, of course, it's recovered and come back much more strongly. But where it gets interesting is when you can collate it with other data. Look what happened, Gav, as an example, with this person's cash. So this client, I remember actually when we got working on this, I remember him coming to me one day, Alison, and saying, Dan, what do I do with all this money? I've got £500,000 in the bank. So that was probably about Q1 2019. I've got £500,000 in the bank, Liam. What do I do with it? And I remembered saying to him, I've got to think of a name that's not his now. Steve, don't worry about it. Just leave it there. And he allowed it to accrue over time. And then you can see the massive dip here. And that's when he took money out for an investment purchase. So this is the business's cash. But the other cool bit of data is, well, we're going to put more things on here, but this is your individual net worth. So for the new members, you'll know that I'm a fan of tracking a personal balance sheet. And for clarity, that's all your assets and liabilities that are not business related. I keep the business separate to force you to be clean and tight about where you're at with your home, your mortgage, if you've got one, your savings, any personal debt that you've got, like to keep that score, right? This person's data, I only saw this after we inputted it, is especially beautiful because if I jump on over and look at their net worth, you can see their net worth was kind of incrementally inching upwards, right? They were saving a certain amount each month. And so at the start of this data, they had a net worth, most of it was in their home, as I recollect, of 653,000. And you can see here in Q2 of 2020, so right when the pandemic was hitting, Jacqueline, this person's net worth went over $1 million. So this person became a millionaire whilst in the program. And for clarity, that's being very, very, very conservative, Rob. because the business, if I put the business's net assets on there, where am I? Yeah, the business's net assets on there. The business has got another 7 figures worth of net assets inside the business at the same time. So this person's tracking their data. So the point is, decisions need to be made based on data and facts, not based upon the panic of what's happening in the moment, right? And that's how most of us make decisions about what to buy or not to buy. I believe, Sarah, that it's going to be choppier in the near future, business-wise. I think there's going to be more disruption as it opens back up again, right? Because there'll be a lot of money flooding into the marketplace, but who knows whether there'll be rolling lockdowns or not. We don't know any of that yet, but there'll be a lot more, I believe, corporate insolvencies. I think, Sonia, corporate insolvencies are going to go absolutely ape shit. And by the way, Lee, that's a good thing for you. That's a good thing for everybody on this call, because there's going to be a lot of assets up for purchase. The reason why corporate insolvency is going to go ape shit is because support is going to be withdrawn, right? People are having to start paying back bounce back loans now. I know the rate relief has been extended, but that will come back in at some point, and people are going to get their asses kicked, right? And businesses will become insolvent, and you're going to be able to buy them for pennies in the pound. Okay, so before I felt that, you know, if you look at any big firm, Chris, they have a load of analysts looking at the data, but plotting it in graphical form just allows you to make it easier. Let me show you something else. So the BPM scorecard, there was a problem that we were overwriting your previous data, and I want to be able to plot that on the graph as well. So the BPM score is a proxy for how stable and strong, Marcus, your business is, right? So you're going to be able to track how your data is trending over time. You're going to be able to click on that data, and it's going to pull up the more intimate details. So this person needs to work on their referral systems, right? The other thing that's not in the software yet, well, it is, but we need to consolidate it a bit more clearly, Lisa, is I want you to see your business's net worth, right? So Georgia, and Ashley on a train, it would appear. Hi, Ashley, right? So this person's revenue before Mastermind was 1.38 million. It's currently now on a 2.84 million run rate. So their business revenue in that 3 year period has more than doubled, but their profit has more than trebled, and their BPM score has kind of approximately doubled. So the business now is worth about 9.5 million. But the point is, when they join the program, if you look in this bottom right hand corner, Paul, it says from 2.06 million to 2.935 million. So from the data that we're going to get inputted from you, Georgia, we're going to give your business valuation score, and you're going to be able to see it tracking over time. So you're going to be able to see how your business's net worth. Now, for clarity, it's a hypothetical, right? As in, your business is worth what actually somebody will pay for it, Arthur. You know that, David. I know that. But it's a useful proxy. And I see there's a lot going on in the chat, so let me jump there. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Gav. Only down to say this is why this person's data is so beautiful. Okay, yeah. So I think the trends are key. Okay, I think the trends are key, and so we're going to put inside on the graphs your business's net worth as well, the valuation, Lisa, of your business, right? And the proof, I would say, of all this working is the growth rate of my private portfolio of companies that I invest in annually is over 30%. Warren Buffett's been doing 20%, Jacqueline, and the stock market, the S&P has done 10%, and the FTSE has done 6%. So, and by the way, the average results in Mastermind are epic, but we want to be able to consolidate it in the right place and know what we're doing is working. Oliver, you know this is true, but there's a load of data that backs it up, and it's actually, I'm working on getting it something more concrete into my next book, right? You become like the people you hang about. Statistics prove, Stephen, that if one of your close friends becomes obese, your chances of becoming obese go up by 300%, Omar. Don't hang out with fat people. No, sorry, I can't make that joke. That's not appropriate, is it? It's not politically correct. Sorry. But on a serious note, like this is proven with a lot of things. There's data to support people gaining weight, people's success or failure giving up smoking, drinking, etc. Does anybody here have any shadow of a doubt, Mike, Ian, that it's any different with business owners? With business growth, profits, your propensity to take risks or screw it up or systemize your business. You're going to become like the people you hang about and the resources you have access to. This tool is simply a resource we're adding into the mix so we can show what we're doing is working. You know what you're doing is working on an individual level, Jody, but we as a group, Michael, know what we're doing is working. There's proof in the consolidated results over time, Lisa. All right, let me go back to my notes. What have I missed? So let me tell you what's going to happen next, and I'll throw it open for questions and discussions. So sometime in the next quarter, we're still testing this and making the UI, the user interface. And Laura, please don't hit me too hard. I know we've got a few software developers in our mastermind program. It's just a wireframe at the moment, but you're going to get access to this tool. We will support you. We're getting the data in, but we're trying to make it very simplistic. So you're going to get the data in. And then we're going to be able to track it. You'll have the ability just to do it from now forward, but you'll also have the ability to go in and enter it retrospectively. Okay, so it's all there. So actually, before I talk about Florida, which I think is relevant and appropriate, I'm looking in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Ashley says, looks awesome. Can't wait to get the data in there. We'll make it much easier to recognize the trends. Good. Sonia, the only two things being husband and sister's gone on a retriever. Okay. Very good. Questions, thoughts, comments about the software? Thank you. Thank you. By the way, as you actually get to test it, I was hoping, Chris, that I was going to give you a chance to test it today, and then we get you the feedback from you live. But we're not quite there yet. So it's more just a sneak peek, Ian, inside. And inevitably you'll help us find loads of bugs in it, and I'm sure we'll get lots of suggestions for future features, and we're open to augmenting it, but we're trying to have something that is functional and simplistic and easy to use as our primary thing that we're optimizing for, Neil, so far. So yeah, Paul, will this be helpful to feed to accountants? Accountants, and there's one on this call, are their own breed. So I'm going to say it might help you understand what the accountants feed you. Finance president is yes, Alison. Yes, it's only going to be available for mastermind members. Obviously, I've reserved the right that I might do something else with it, but yes, it's a resource available for mastermind members. Maybe numbers on the account package. Okay, Paul, no, right now it's not directly linked. We're not going to make it linked to your accounts package, but you're going to be able to import spreadsheets, CSVs into it. So you could export the data from your software and put it into this software. We just fixed that or made that work last week. Very good. Very good. Any other comments? You can unmute yourself and chat away. No? Stunned silence. You guys made me laugh with the chat. All right, so. Oh, somebody's unmuted. Let me go back to the participants. Oh no, they've remuted themselves. Okay, so one final thing that I will show you guys, which I'm going to elaborate on a little bit further. Okay, give me a thumbs up. Can you see my screen again? All right. So, this is downtown Tampa, Florida. I have some interest in Tampa, Florida. I've been there many, many times, and I am making an invitation for you guys. In the next quarter, what we are going to do is a kind of better your best or the ultimate mastermind member competition. I haven't got a title for it yet, but effectively what I'm interested in seeing, Paul, is who's made the most improvements, especially over this COVID period. Jamal, who has adapted their business? Nisha, who has been flexible, changed, tweaked, adapted their business model? Ian, what have you done to make your business stronger? Later this afternoon, we're going to be hearing from a variety of business owners that have had spectacular quarters. We've got people on this call that have replaced themselves, hired MDs. We've got people that have removed themselves entirely from operations, people that have significantly grown their revenues and profitability despite COVID, despite the fact that their business should have been hammered. We've got a variety of fitness business owners on here that are closed that are still making profit despite the lockdown. It's stunning, okay? And we're going to talk about that this afternoon. But in the summer, we're going to have a little competition. We're going to have a little competition that kind of goes back to the start of 2020. And we're going to say, okay, great, get your data in the software. And we are going to choose some finalists, somewhere between 4 and 8 finalists, to give a 20-minute presentation, Mike. You should enter. To give a 20-minute presentation of what you learned, how you adapted, and how you improved your business. I don't know about you, Chris, but I learn best from real life examples. I learn best from practical implementation, not just talking about theory. So seeing a showcase for some really strong business growth over the previous 18 months, despite the pandemic, i.e. demonstration, Jody, that you've become anti-fragile. You've become anti-fragile. You've got stronger because of this pandemic. And then we're going to have audience participation offer in the form of a vote. And then the winner will win an all expenses paid trip, flights, accommodation, etc. to Florida as soon as we are reasonably able. And if we're not able to go to Florida, we'll go somewhere else. So that is what's up for grabs in the summer. We're going to have a big competition. And of course, this is after the irreversible lockdown. So this is after the irreversible lockdown has ended. So we will be face to face when we get to do that towards the end of June this year. Don't worry, Paul, you don't have to come. All right. So any questions, thoughts, comments about that? Don't wow me all at once. I mean, I am seeing it in the chat. Somebody talk to me because I'm feeling a bit.
Sounds pretty tasty, Dan.
Awesome, yeah. Dan.
Very, very tasty. Very good.
I think we all want to go to Florida.
Please vote for me.
I want to go.
Can we all go? Can we have SMM there?
I'll see what. Well, I'll tell you what. We can have a little mastermind in Florida. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
A 6-month mastermind in the winter.
Yeah. I'll be virtual, as will the winner, and the rest of you. The rest of you can get together in Warwick. So you're gonna. So you'll be invited to enter in the near future, and again, we're going to ask for data, but it's really presentation, and it'll be audience participation vote in the summer. All right. So there you go. So that's what we're doing as an incentive, Georgia, to get you all to fast track into using the software over the next quarter. We'll be here to help you, support you, and it'll allow us to collate data, and it'll make for a fun, even more fun atmosphere when we get to return to Warwick conferences for the next SMM in June. All right. When will this be? So as in the event is at the end of June. When we'll go away is TBC, but as soon as physically possible that we're allowed. Very good. Okay. Any final comments, thoughts, questions, musings, pontifications, deliberations? My internal synonym creator, Georgia's broken. I've run out now. Any final thoughts? All right. So let me tell you this. When we come back after lunch, so the good news is I'm running quicker than I thought. So you get to have a longer lunch break. Congratulations. When we come back after lunch, we're going to be talking about the plan. We're going to be creating the plan for the next quarter and beyond. We're going to be we got great feedback on this template, which I'm just going to throw up. last time. I think there's a lot of power in simplicity. Okay. So being really clear about your one-page strategic plan for the next quarter. We want to be clear on the financials for a longer period than that, but related to all these parts on one piece of paper. It all intertwines, Ian, Chris. It all intertwines. So you have to think about this kind of collectively at a high level if you're going to be able to execute it. Okay? So that's what we're going to come in working on together in groups in mastermind format when we come back after lunch. And then after that, we will have the panel talk about what's working now. Some of the best performing members of the last quarter will be up later this afternoon, David, and then we will wrap it up beautifully and put a bow on it. So the time now is 12:22. We are going to take a slightly earlier than planned lunch break, and I'm just mentally deliberating now. Yeah, sorry. Let's come back at 15:15, so just 5 minutes earlier than is on the schedule. Let's come back at 1:15 p.m. Have a wonderful lunch break. All 52 minutes of it, Arthur. Have a wonderful lunch break. Please don't leave the room. Just turn off your video, mute yourself. Goodbye for now. And I'll see you after lunch.